Hello guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendra. Thank you so much for being here. Today we have a little bit of a different style of video. Usually my videos are a lot more fashion based and around hauls and lookbooks and stuff like that, but today I have something very special, and I know I'm late to the game on this, but whatever. I'm actually going to be doing a review or kind of first impressions of the Kathleen Lights Zodiac Collection. I have the entire bundle here. Today I actually bought it, myself on launch day. What actually happened is that on original launch day, I purchased right away, had no issues purchasing. I know some people had some weird things where it was saying it was sold out, even though it wasn't. I was one of those people that was on the site technically 2 minutes before it launched. It allowed me to purchase and check out like everything before 10 o'clock even hit, basically 2 minutes before, and it shipped me very quickly. I would say I got it within 3 to 4 days. The shipping was great. I didn't get the actual PR bundle, like the PR box bundle, just because I thought it was kind of, I don't know, I'm not one to keep packaging. I like packaging and I have been keeping these in their little packages, but I don't love packaging to that point where I'm like, oh my god, I want the PR bundle, the whole. In the bundle, if you purchase, you are going to get, of course, the Zodiac palette. You're going to get 2 Super Shock highlighters, and you get one in On the Cusp and one in Fire. You get the 2 Luxe lips. One of them is in What's Your Sign, and the other is Scorpio Moon, in the blue packaging as well. And then you get 2 Supernova Shadows, one in the shade Constellation and one in Astrology. But the unicarton does have the different shadow names on the back here, and it's in black, but the actual palette is in blue and also has the names on the back. But then the names are again here on the front with the shadows. And this one has a mirror, which gotta love good mirror. So as you can see, I have swatched a little bit, and I have done maybe 1 or 2 eyeshadow looks with it, but I haven't worn it out, if that makes sense. Like, I've done looks just like at home when I'm chilling at my desk here, like kind of playing around, but I haven't worn it like, oh, I'd like to go somewhere, let me put some eyeshadow on. Next, I'm going to stay on the eyes, the 2 Supernova Shadows. I would say that Astrology is a greeny gold, very shimmery, and on the hand, just kind of swatched. This is what comes off in very crappy lighting. And Constellation is, I would say, like a true rose gold. So yeah, the packaging of these 2 is really stunning. The actual little applicator and tube is really well done. It has rose gold accents and then a nice doe foot applicator. The products feel very sturdy. They feel well made. It would be something nice to display. That's why I've kind of held on to the unicarton and just overall packaging, because I think, as we'll get into, I don't think it's going to be my most worn collection of makeup, but I do think it's going to be one that I cherish because of the packaging and the way it looks and who it's by and the love that went into it. Next thing is the Super Shock cheek highlights. They come in these little black unicartons, and then again, like the palette, the actual packaging is blue. So this one in on the cusp, whatever that means. This is the lighter of the 2, definitely. It's a very different formula than I'm used to. This, by the way, is the first ColourPop order I've ever placed in my entire life. These things don't swatch very well. The actual Super Shock cheeks, they just don't swatch very well, but I've definitely used Fire quite a few times now, and I think Fire is beautiful, on the skin and everything. But like, you can't even, it's not doing it justice. That one's a little bit better. Looks like this. It's such a weird consistency as you're like rubbing your fingers in it. It just looks like nothing else. A different consistency than anything I've ever used in my entire life, which is weird. those are the two. Fire is a little bit deeper, so it might work for some deeper skin tones. I would categorize myself on the medium to deep spectrum, not on the deep dark spectrum. I can't speak on deep dark, but for medium to dark, I think Fire works completely fine, but I think On the Cusp is a little bit light just in general. And that brings me to these lippies, which same blue unicorn with like really cute packaging, and then the actual tube, this beautiful rose gold bullet with these little stars all over it. You get two, one in Scorpio Moon. This one is the more wearable shade for me personally. In this hand. They're super creamy and super nice feeling. They feel just smooth to the touch. This tone, and this is what's hard about videos and YouTubers and all that stuff, this tone looked so different on Kathleen, and obviously that is with a lot of things. Kathleen has a very light complexion compared to yours truly, so obviously things are going to look different on her. That's the hard part with ordering makeup online or just ordering in general based on recommendation, because just because something looks a certain way on somebody else or them doesn't mean it will work for you, and that's kind of what is happening to me here. These shades weren't imagined with a deeper skin tone in mind, and not that that is necessary, not that it should have been, it's just personally. So this is the second lip, and this is What's Your Sign, and this is what she described as her perfect nude, which, thinking back, I should have known. If Kathleen Lights describes it as her perfect nude, honey, it's not gonna work for you. But in my mind, I was like, it's beautiful. Even on my hand, it looks darker and like it would work. We'll get there. These are the products you get. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 products in total, and I believe the price was $59 hairs. I'll have it linked in the description. It is available again. It went out of stock and came back in stock, and I don't believe it has sold out again. Now that we have all that done, I'm going to get into the rest of it. So basically, I'm going to do my base, and then I'll come back and use these products.
The legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Achilles and his gifts, Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fists. Clearly I don't see myself upon that list. She said, where do you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss, just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this.
This is my base done. I'm going to be hopping right into the palette. And I am sorry that this came really late. I went back home to California for a few days for my grandpa's birthday. He turned 80. He's my best friend. Oh, I love that man. So yes, this video was a little delayed, but we're getting to it. I'm gonna go in with the eye palette first. Looking at the palette here, these are all these shades. It's weird because it's not one that instantly like calls me. I'm not like, oh wow, I could do blank look right away. But there are some that I do gravitate towards naturally. These purpley shades here and like the purple sparkle here. I'm a Cancer and the shade is like perfect, I feel. Things that I'm about are honestly the blues. The ones that everyone are excited about are the blues, and those are the ones where I'm like, I don't think I would actually use them. And it looks like these shadows do have enough richness for medium to deep skin tones for it to actually work and show up nicely. I'm gonna go in with the Libra here, which is this kind of, it's a shade, it's a light transition-y pinky shade. And I am just going to take that on this nice fluffy brush. This is a BH Cosmetics fluffy blender, and this is from one of their Eco Tools, or like their equivalent to Eco Tools sets. No, I'm not using any eye primer or anything like that. I did have some foundation and concealer on my lids from my base, but I don't use any other eyeshadows with a primer, so I feel like to use one just for the sake of this video would kind of be inauthentic, and it's not like serving a purpose because that's not how I do eyeshadow. And then I'm going to go into the Sagittarius down here. I'm jumping right in with that deeper shade because there's no kind of in between that I would use usually, because this kind of color scheme, this purpley mauve color scheme, is what I tend to go for quite a bit when I'm doing my eyeshadow, just because it's really easy. My favorite is the Kat Von D Shade and Light, I have it right here, Plum palette. This little quad with basically these shades, but there's like a cool toned transition-y in there, and that's like what I'm missing in here, but I definitely think this look works without it. Now that I have this kind of base down, I'm gonna go in with this Real Techniques kind of weird shader brush, and I'm just gonna blend using this. Just trying to make sure that everything looks nice and even. And even now, just looking at it, I can kind of see what doesn't look even. So yeah, this is what I'm going to start off with. Next, I'm going to go in, and I use the same brush for everything. I'm going to go into the Libra again, that lighter shade, and buff the edges. And also I'm going to go in with the Virgo, which is this neutral brownie shade right in there. And I'm going to touch that just inside my inner corner to deepen it up. I'm gonna go back into Sagittarius and really intensify this purple. I was gonna keep the inner corner really open and light, but it kind of went in anyway, just because my blending. So I'm going to take the Sagittarius and kind of bring it into the inner corner. Not like too intensely, but I am going to start bringing it in, and we're going to do more of like a center, like kind of halo of light. So I'm going to take this, the Scorpio, on my finger. These are the eyes so far. I really like how like dark and sultry they got like pretty quickly. So I love the way they're going. I love how dark it is, but I do want to bring at least a little bit of light. So I'm going to take the Cancer. I'm going to take that on my pointer, which is clean, and I'm going to dot it just in the center. So whatever's left on my finger, I'm actually going to take into my inner corner, and I kind of just... Alright, so this is the look kind of just pretty much coming together. I'm going to take this tiny little precise crease brush from e.l.f. and I'm going to go into the same shades that I did on my upper lash line. I'm going to go in with the Scorpio, same thing on this little brush. Cancer might be too light to put on my brow bone, but I'm going to do it anyway. To be using the Colossal Big Shot Mascara by Maybelline. We're going to go back into the eye look, and I'm going to go in with the Constellation, which is the Supernova Shadow. And I'm going to take just a touch on the back of my hand, because I'm afraid to just like swipe it in there, because I'm pretty proud of how the eye look turned out so far. And then I'm going to take this little, not that little, it's actually like a concealer brush. This one actually is by Eco Tools, not BH Eco Tools. And I'm going to apply it just in the center to see what it does. I think it dries fast. Get some more. Sorry you couldn't see any of that. I'm actually going to come back in and blend that out now, because now I look a little crazy, but as you can see, it is super reflective. It does feel wet though, even though like now that I'm done, like I still feel it. Maybe that'll go away. This is how that came out on my lid. It's a little hard to work with. Obviously, I didn't do it correctly. Like if I forgot to do it before I put my mascara on, but I think it came out still pretty good. It dries down pretty quickly. I can imagine this being very, very long wearing based on the feel. It's like cement on your eye. And now I'm gonna move on to the face. So for the face, I'm going to use Fire. And I'm saying I might use a little bit of Astrology on my high points, but I'm going to use Fire on the high points of my cheek. And then I am gonna use my kind of damp brush here. I'm gonna pat it into the skin a little bit. That did meld it into the skin a little bit better. Maybe I applied too much. Like, it definitely is pretty, but I think I just expected something different, like with this formula. Like I really thought it would do some different things, I guess. And like I said, I want to try and see if Astrology can double as like a little highlighting moment. Obviously it's like, she's a green. So the last thing, you guys, that we have to jump into are the Lux lips. We're gonna go in first with What's Your Sign, just so before I'm a liar, you know, let me just, maybe it does work on my skin tone. Yeah, this is What's Your Sign. I'm not gonna lie, my lips. I think it's too light. I mean, obviously to each his own. Jackie Aina has always taught us that even if something is too light, we can always go back in with like a darker lip liner, kind of make it more of the lip that we want it to be. And I'm going to go in with Scorpio Moon. While this one might not be too light for me, here's my problem. Wait till I put it on. This one's not too light, but it is pinkier than we expected. So let me take my hair down and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Okay guys, so I'm going to try and wrap this video pretty quickly because I feel like it has gotten out of hand. So I did throw a little bit of the What's Your Sign on top of Scorpio Moon on my lips because it was a very pinky magenta for my liking. Maybe it wasn't pink or magenta, but that was the vibes I was pulling and I didn't think that it complemented my skin tone very well. But now kind of a mixture between the two I think is something I will wear, so maybe I will get more wear out of the What's Your Sign than I originally thought. And overall, I did enjoy the actual Zodiac palette. I think blendability wise, it was great. The colors that I used obviously worked well together. Obviously, I didn't use every single color in the palette. And if you guys want me to do more looks with this palette, just so you guys can see what you can do with it, let me know down in the comments below. I think overall, for the price, the quality, it's worth it. And especially with the big mirror, and if you love Kathleen Lights, go for it. Maybe you don't need the whole bundle, but I definitely think the palette itself is good value for money and a good palette. Now, these Supernova Shadows, I think there are other things on the market that do the same thing. These are pretty good of a price. I think Constellation is really nice. It worked very well on the top. I think that it is a little bit hard to work with and dries down really quickly, and you really need to make sure to pat it out or you get these kind of little patchy globs on your eye. Super Shock Cheeks, I think that Fire is pretty good. On the cusp, I think it's just kind of too light for me. Maybe I can use it as an eyeshadow, but at this point it just kind of seems like a waste of money on this product for me personally. And they are a little weird to apply. I think maybe it's a learning curve and something I need to get used to, but I found that, like, you know, pouncing with my finger like wasn't doing it, and I found that I really had to go back in with something wet. So maybe a beauty blender or just a damp brush will work better with kind of blending this out, but just alone with your fingers, I think it leaves it looking very textured and obviously sitting on your skin. Maybe just finding the right way to work with these would make me love them more, but I do like the color of Fire. Last but not least, the lips. I think that What's Your Sign is too light. I mean, it's probably Kathleen Lights Perfect Nude, but for everyone else, that's not her. Obviously, it's not a perfect nude, but which is fine because obviously she made this as her perfect nude. Like, What's Your Sign, she says all the time. Like, it's very color specific to her and what she likes, which is totally fine. Just for me personally, did not work out. But putting it on top of Scorpion Moon, I think gave me like a decent in-between shade, because this was just so mauve-y. Like, in the tube and on my hand, it looks like very kind of a deep mauve, but then on my lips, I feel like it came up very fuchsia, and not that I shouldn't really like fuchsia. So I think layering the two will be how I use them. They are very creamy and comfortable. I don't feel like they're too slippery where I'm gonna be like, you know, finding it everywhere all day, but I do think they're creamy in the way that they're comfortable to wear. That's my overall review. I think palette is good. I think depending on your color, the cheek Super Shock things are good. Same depending on your color. I think the lippies are good. And I think these, if you really like the colors, I think they're good, but I also think there's probably better alternatives that are easy to work with. Sorry. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. I know it's a little different for me. I know I was all over the place. I would like to get more into some beauty content because I do own quite a bit of makeup because I watch YouTube, I watch beauty gurus, and I love trying out new stuff and just using and playing with stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for being here and supporting my channel. I hope you stick around and subscribe so you can see the next one. This should be next week. If everything works out, they should be every week. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!